Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, minions, and mechs. And welcome to Good Stuff, Making Stuff, where I am this holiday season here gonna have the first special episode in a series of episodes where we first are going to tackle the most requested thing here. It's the veteran ranger helmet from Fallout New Vegas. So let's get going. So we are going to start here by making some simple templates here by doing something from the nose here, and then we cutting out, and you see we do a little bit of an angle there, and then we do the eye there, so we can mirror these things, so it will look kind of like that. I do was a little bit too much of these things, which we will see later, my kind of cock up. So, well, be a little, don't take too much space around the eyes there. Anyway, now we're going to make a little angle there, and it starts to look a bit like a stormtrooper if you think about it here. But these lines are very good, because then you put them on the back side there, and then you are going to cut them in like a 45-degree angle. You cut them first in the back, they're almost. But first, sorry about that, we are going to cut the nose here, and I'm just going to do it in two parts here, because it will be a very, very large piece to cut off from the foam otherwise, but that's something. Anyway, so now we are going to heat shape the nose here, so it will get into a good angle. The best thing is just to squeeze these things together, and when it falls out naturally, it will be a good angle. Anyway, so you can do some little reshaping. You see? Now, there we have the nose, and there we have the eyes parts going on there. Now, we are going to do the thing that I mentioned there. We're going to cut it straight, and then we're going to do an angle about a centimeter, and then we cut it to almost the edge. So be very careful with this here, so then they fold, that they will have a very good angle to your face there, so you will have this Darth Vader thing going on, if you see what I mean there. Yes. Now you see we are going to take a little lap there to have under the chin, so make it like 5 centimeters long, so it doesn't scratch into your neck, because that's quite uncomfortable. Anyway, so now we see we have measured out here like 2 centimeters, and we are going to cut that out. I do 2 centimeters, but my face is a little bit weird. Everybody's faces are weird, so you have to do some adjustments to your face there. You see, then we are gluing it back, and now we are going to take this final part here and cut out, so this will just slide in, and then you can glue it, you see, like I'm doing here, and then I cut from a 90-degree angle for like 5 millimeters, and then you take that away, you see, like that. So the things will go back on and be glued on like that. Now you see we're going to cut off that little excessive piece there. Now we're going to take my favorite thing here, which is the lids from the spray cans, and we're going to cut away like 5 millimeters on the side here and keep the middle. And you see they had 3 sides already, so we are going to keep that as a reference for this specific mouse part here. And I do have to mention that this is not an exact replica master build thing. It's just what you can do in like a few evenings in the week, which I did. So you see, like that, I have cut along these little lines there, and now I'm going to cut out the middle there, and making this very nice, and take some artistic freedom by taking one of these parts, because they already have a thing in the middle there. It has some kind of net part, but I don't have it at home, so I took that. That's why I have the artistic freedom. Anyways, you see, we have measured out that part there, you do it flat, and then you take and do the little Viking helmet thing going on there, and then we're going to glue them together in a Japanese cut, as it is called. You see exactly how it works there, and see, so it fits with my cheap helmet I got from the Halloween store many years ago. Now you see that part will be in there, and we will have it in the same angle as it is up to your face there. You can also do the whole build of this is Pepakura, but well, I don't do that. Anyway, so now you see I've glued it back and see, so it will fit on my face and it looks extra much stormtrooperish. Now I did the thing with the eye here, and I was supposed to have the eye go up a little bit to look more properly, so I kind of messed that up. But anyway, it looks still... You still see what it is, and that's an achievement, I think. Anyway, so now we're going to slice this part in the middle. Be very careful when you do it, so you don't cut yourself or make them too thin or too thick, so you have parts like that. And now we are going to cut out the same size in transparent plastic and take some tuning plastic and take a little bit of foam to make them very even when you squeeze it out, so you don't get air bubbles. So you see, now we are going to put them on top there, and I'm just going to take this away so the glue sticks to it. So now we have glued them together on the face there, and they will look lovely like that. Anyway, now we're going to take this metal string package here. I'm going to cut out that. You can do this with similar things, or just do them from scratch, however you want to. And now we take the big hole drill thingy, so we can have an exact big hole out of this pink lead. And now we're going to cut this part in half, and we're going to drill two big holes there and then cut between, so you will have something that looks like it kind of machined out. And we're going to cover that with metal strings, because it has some kind of metal string filter thing going on this helmet thingy. You see, like that. I did an average, not okay job. But anyway, it's string in the back there. So now we are gonna glue that on. Easy with a glue gun, because we're gonna put a bit of a foam backing. Now I have this little yoga mat here, which is much more softer, which will go around the back of your head, where we're just gonna push it together with a string. Because this costume can also be glued directly to the helmet, so you just can take it off however you want to, because helmets is kind of uncomfortable. Anyway, now I'm just putting a little hole there and make a little bolt there. This is also very much artistic freedom. You can also glue this thing, but I choose to do that. Anyway, so now we're gonna take this ear protection, and which it has broken, so I took 2 parts of it, and we're going to make the side panel thing on it fit on it, which I make out of this dense styrofoam here, which you can get on the hardware store. They're used for floors, so they are very, very good. And just cut it out with a very sharp knife, because that will be lovely. And just shape it straight. I did actually mess up the size here, so I made this to the small part that will sit over the top of the big part. And now we're gonna put this little lid thing there, and you see here, this is nonsense, because I ended up not using this, but that is a part from a car battery, which holds a cap over the electrical part thingy, the minus and plus things. Anyway, so we glue that onto the bigger box, which I have glued to the air protection, and now we are going to do the little weird side part thingy, because I don't really know what all this equipment do. They are never really explained in the game. Some sub-file maybe somewhere explains this, but I don't know. Anyway, so now I just roughly sketched it out and then fix it by measuring out and straightening it up. So you see, it's gonna be put in like that, but first some little detail thing, but cutting out the little hole there, pushing it in and then glue it back on, and also pushing that up and cut it in a little bit of an angle. And now we're going to glue it back there. Sorry for not filming that part, but I think you can figure out how I did. Just use a very sharp knife. Now we're going to glue that thing back on to the head, and you see it has a hole there on top, in the middle there. We're gonna attach the antenna and also to the helmet itself, which you see I'm doing here by pushing the needle through and then pushing the big bolt inside there. And now I have to do some little adjustments there. So you see, and that's also the part of the broken air protections there we are going to put there, and then put the antenna on top of that, because they look quite similar. So we are going to cut that off with super high-speed sawing. And now we're gonna push in with a paintbrush and then take a black straw, because they kind of look like that, so why not use a drinking straw? That's the correct word for it. It's a drinking straw. Straws can be used for other things, but that one is for drinking. Anyway, so now you see I'm just testing to put on the helmet there, and it looks okay. Now it's a little bit more straight, so it looks fantastic so far. And if you have one helmet, I'll just show you this little bonus here. You have some plastic wrap, some fabric, some tape. You can also use paper for this to actually make other helmets, because helmets has very interesting shapes. I do have a real helmet, which I am going to show you later. But anyway, so I wanted to make more of these because I couldn't exactly find this type of helmet for sale anywhere here in Sweden, or, well, affordable to ship from some part in the world. Anyway, you see, you just put it all around plastic wrap, and then you're gonna dip the fabrics and put it on like that, and then we're just gonna pull that out later when it's dry, which I will show you in the next tutorial I will do, so keep this thing in mind. Anyway, and then while that is drying, which is super exciting, we are going to put on paint and then watch that dry, because that is very exciting. Anyway, so now paint this whole thing in black everywhere, and that thing that is a little bit of pink there, it will also be black, but it's kind of translucent, so the black paint I'm using, so I have to use this several times. But you see, just doing this with a pencil, you can also do this with a spray if you really want to. Anyway, so everything is now going to be painted, except for that the styrofoam doesn't really like spray paint. It kind of melts like acid, like in Alien, which is a very good movie. So now when we have covered everything in exciting black base color, we are now going to go over to the next step here and doing gray. And I'm just going to like wash this thing on, very dry brush it almost, because it's gonna look like deserty. And so you can many layers of yellow and things, so it will look like more like it has been in the desert and so on. But we're just gonna put on some rust brown here, and also you can, if you use many layers of rust paint and sawdust and stuff like that, there are many tutorials on how to do that thing in particular. But you see, I'm just going to have to put on some metal paint here, because I do have to rush this thing, because I have other important things to do. But anyway, this is what you can do in like maybe 3 evenings after you have come home from your work, or things like that. It's not a very time-consuming and not a very difficult build. It looks more difficult than it actually is, but if you have this tutorial, I think you will be fine. Anyway, so now we're just gonna put on some black in the cracks there, and also make it a little bit more dirty. And also the metal paint has been put on wherever I feel like the wear and tear has been a part of it. So now that's pretty much basically it. And you can also go to the end, but I have to use more of this. But you see, this is my real army helmet here, which I will probably wear this thing at some point. Thank you for watching, and I hope this first Christmas edition was informative. Holiday season things. Anyway, see you, bye. See you, bye. See you.